My name is Fabian. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Marley Spoon. And I used to be also involved in some other food businesses before as you're here, but today we're talking about something else. We're going to talk about cooking, because what we're doing is we're bringing delightful, market-fresh and easy cooking back to the people. Now, if you think about it, I think cooking is something that does need a little bit of help, because when I used to go to a supermarket, my problem always was that I used to rush in, I see all these things, and then I go out, and then I end up cooking the same things all over again. Steak with broccoli, steak with green beans. I always used to cook the same things. I wouldn't cook easy things like, I don't know, a nice chicken thigh with sweet potatoes or mango chutney. It's very easy to do, actually. I don't do it, no? Or when was the last time you did a very nice saltimbocca with sugar snap peas and polenta? It's super yummy. It's very easy to do. Kind of not doing it. Even if you want to go more exotic, if you want to do like a beautiful pork chop with mole and some avocado salad, when was the last time you did something like that? No, you don't really do these beautiful things that are very, very easy to do. No, and that is, I feel like we want to make it easier for people to cook this way. So what we're doing is we're basically having an amazing set of chefs, and what they do is they create these beautiful recipes, and out of these recipes, our customers can choose every week what they want to cook. Now they can choose vegetarian, meat, fish dishes, and then we send them a box to their home, and in that box they have all these ingredients, they have a recipe card, and they can cook. It's very simple. Now the only thing that you need is salt, pepper, and oil, and that's it. So what people really see is like when they switch the way they cook to Marley Spoon, what they see is they have one thing less to worry about in their life, no? Which is, what are we going to cook tonight? One thing less you have to worry about. So cooking becomes effortless, it becomes easy, and people love it. So when you think about it, it is not something that is actually a niche business. It's actually groceries. It's a pretty big category. In fact, it's the largest category in consumer spending, which I find kind of interesting. No? It's far bigger than travel or fashion, electronics. No? It's a massive category. Now, people spend more money on food than on cars. Think about the car industry. But it's actually the only vertical that hasn't switched yet from offline to online. No? All these other verticals have switched yet, but 97% of all grocery sales are still offline. So there's a huge category to switch and a huge opportunity to build, I think, a consumer brand over the following years. So it's a massive industry, but I think it's an industry that's kind of in trouble. It's a bit weird if you think about it, because we have this industry that creates this huge amount of food, like millions of tons of products, perishable products, that are being sent towards you, close to you, like to a location next door. And there the product waits for you. So you maybe walk in and pick it up. No? And if you don't walk in and pick it up, they throw it out. Now, how crazy is that? There's hundreds of millions of tons of food being thrown away every year in the European Union because you don't pick it up. They put it there for you, you don't pick it up. So I feel like the industry, there's something not really working well. And from the consumer side, to be honest, I think supermarkets are very crowded and they don't really help me to solve my problems, which is what I want to cook tonight. No, they say there's 50,000 SKUs, pick anything you like. I want to cook tonight. So I don't think supermarkets do a good job in serving the customer. So what we want to do is we want to replace a supermarket. We want to get rid of those supermarkets. No? We think you don't need them. Forget about them. And the way you go about it, if you want to replace something, you have to do something that's 10 times better and cheaper. 10 times better alone doesn't work, doesn't do it. You have to be 10 times better and cheaper. So when you think about it, the way we operate, it is 10 times better. I mean, you get the recipe card, somebody thinks about all these recipes, you get all the groceries in the right quantity delivered to your home. It's really convenient, you need 30 minutes to cook, so it's 10 times better. Now, the thing is, I can tell you all of that. How do we know whether I'm right? Or maybe I'm wrong. Now, how can I prove to you that it is 10 times better? So I feel like the way you can prove whether something's better or not is you look at customer behavior. You look at, can you retain customers? If you cannot retain customers, you don't add value. If they stay, you do something right. So what I'm thinking is exciting about this business has the strongest customer retention cohorts I've seen ever. No, it's a subscription model. People buy 3 times a month, so 3 weeks out of a month they cook with us, and they cook 3 times with us, and they keep cooking. Instead, in fact, we retain 50% of those customers after those 3 months, and after a year, we see around 30% of customers, they replace the supermarket with us. They don't cook with the supermarket anymore, they replace it with us. So it is 10 times better. The question is, can it be cheaper? Now, because you know the industry, the supermarket industry, it's a low-margin industry. That's not a secret. It's a terrible, difficult industry. And so how can we be cheaper? We are small. We don't know really what we're doing. We're young. And I think the reason is because we're cheating. We're doing 3 things completely different. And the first thing is, a supermarket on average, they have 50,000 SKUs, like things lying around in a supermarket. Because they don't know what you want. They put everything out there. So we have 10 dishes every week, 10 ingredients per dish, makes 100 SKUs. Buying 100 items is easier than buying 50,000 items. It's much easier. No? In fact, the funny thing is our customers think all that choice, 10 dishes every week, they're new, I can choose all that choice, it's amazing. But in fact, there's no choice at all. The whole nation eats the same 10 dishes. The supermarket would love if they knew the 10 dishes that are to be cooked, because then they have to put all the stuff in front of you. So that's the first thing we're cheating on. We have a very constrained supply chain. The second thing is there's no waste. Supermarkets throw away 100 million tons of food every year. It's obvious. If you don't eat that eggplant, you put it aside, after 3 days, they have to throw out. No? They have to throw the perishable products out. When we buy our food, we already know what we've sold. But there's no waste. So what is the 30% waste I see in the industry? It's my margin, because I don't have any waste. And the last thing is we don't need all these prime real estate locations. We don't need like all these supermarkets, which cost a lot of money, which are pretty huge. We have one central facility in each market we're in, and we serve nationwide. So our product is like it's 10 times better and it's cheaper. So we started 2 years ago. We're operating in 7 countries, 3 continents, and it actually has been growing nicely. We're serving now 2.4 million meals annually, and we're growing 10-20% every month. And in fact, most of that is existing customers. It's existing customers coming back, switching from the supermarket to us. We're replacing the supermarket. It's for families. It's for people with structured lives that are at home anyway. They have to cook, and we're solving a problem for them. So in a way, it's kind of starting nicely, but we're still very, very small. Now I want to put things into perspective. So this is an example. It's a company called Blue Apron. They're doing something similar. I don't know how big they are. Let's assume they're 900 million. We're doing something 25, 26 million revenue this year. But in fact, we're the same size. Now you ask me, Fabian, what's wrong with you? It doesn't look like the same size. The one looks a bit bigger. But if you put things in perspective, that's Whole Foods. Whole Foods doing 15 billion in revenue. 15 billion in revenue. So suddenly things look a little bit more together, like closer together if you compare Blue Apron with Whole Foods and Marley Spoon. But that's actually not the real story. The real story is these guys have 2% market share. They built a 2% market share business, which is a $15 billion business. I think nobody really understands the size of the grocery industry. So if you put these things into perspective, that's the US grocery market. It's around 900 billion. This is Whole Foods. And in fact, Blue Apron and Marley Spoon, we're the same size. We're tiny. We're just scratching the surface. And all of that market is offline. 97% is offline. It's going to switch online. There's no way around it. So I think there's a massive opportunity to build this business over time. So our plan is to be one of those players, some projects in the future. The nice thing about that is actually that while we're so small, we're already generating 15% gross margin of every product we sell. That's more than any supermarket can claim. And we're tiny. It's a high-margin business because we serve the customer not only 10 times better, but we can do it also cheaper because the way we operate the business. I think that's all for now.